Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask robtrek, where I try to answer your questions from the comments sections in my videos. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Remember, no question is too small, and give as much detail as possible so I can give you as a precise an answer as I can. So with that said, let's get started. All right, the question today is from Jen Smith, and it says, "Hi Rob, my question is, can you turn off the live view screen to save battery and turn it on again using a button?" Question 2 is, how do you display card 2 in pictures? And then question 3 is there any option for grid display? Thanks in advance for your advice. And I can say yes to all those 3 questions. So let me show you how to do that. Now there's actually already a button on your camera to turn the live view screen off. And it's the EVF toggle button here. So as you can see, if I toggle it now, all it does is toggle between the live view and the control panel. So you have to go into the menu and then go all the way over here to the wrench menu and then tab over to, what's that, page 3, and you want to go to eye sensor settings. Click on that and it says EVF auto switch, and we'll just turn that off. And now when I toggle the EVF button here, you can see it turns the live view off and then the EVF comes on. And that's all there is to it. Now to answer a much larger question about saving battery life while you're using the camera out in the field, I'll address that after I answer your other 2 questions. But let's get to your next one here about how to display card 2 pictures. Alright, the simplest way to change which card slot you're looking at is just push the play button, and then down here it'll tell you card slot number 1. I'm looking at picture number 3 out of 635. So I was doing some astrophotography. But if I want to look at what pictures are on card slot 2, I push and hold the play button, then I rotate the front dial. And you'll notice that the card slot numbers pop up down here. So I can just rotate back and forth by rotating the front dial. So if I go to card slot number 2, I let go. And now I'm looking at pictures on card slot number 2, and I can confirm that because it says right here, card slot number 2, picture number 2 out of 466. So that's the easiest way. But you can also tell the camera which card to look at first, and then maybe switch to the other one if you want to, using the method I just showed you. But your card slot settings have to be set to dual card slot mode. So let's go into the menu. Go all the way over here to the wrench, and then actually it's right here. So I have my save settings set to single card slot use. So I can only save to one card and not the other in this mode. And then this is where you tell it which card do you want to save to. However, there's another line item grayed out here, and that's because we're in the wrong save setting. So if we go to any of the dual card slot modes, whatever mode you want to pick, and I have a whole video on all of this stuff too, but let's just pick a dual card slot mode. Now, this is grayed out because now we can say, and this is the play icon, we can say which card do we want to start looking at. So by default, you're going to start with card slot 1, but you can set it so it starts looking at card slot number 2 instead. So when I push play, you can see I started on card slot number 2, and I can change it to card slot number 1 and look at these. But that's basically how you switch between looking at pictures from card slot 1 to card slot 2. And then your last question here was, is there an option for grid display? Yes, actually there's several options with the grid display, so let's go into that. So let's go back into the menu, and we're going to go over here to the operations menu. Then just page over until we see grid settings. It's on page 5, and we click on that, and we can change the color of the grid, but we have to display the grid first, right? So let's go in here, and you can choose from many different grids, but let's just pick the rule of thirds grid, for example. And now when you look, you should be able to see there's the grid lines there. But in some scenes, it could be a little bit difficult to see the grid lines. So that's why they have these colors that you can change. So let's go back into the grid settings, preset. Let's just use preset number 2. I believe that's red. Yeah, these are red. So that may be a little easier to see. Another thing you can do is just go into the menu, grid settings, and actually change the color to what you want. And it's really hard to tell, but there's a little square here, right? The focus point. So if I want a very bright green, I'll turn off the red and blue and maximize the green. I wish they would just have a color wheel instead of these numbers. But I'm going to turn red and blue off and just have green on. And then maximize the alpha to 100% so it's as bright as possible. And then, I'm sorry, we'll go into grid settings and we'll use preset number 1 because that's the one we changed, is preset number 1. And now the grid line should be a lot more visible than before. All right, now I want to talk about some settings that'll help you save some battery life while you're out in the field. And this will probably also negate the need to actually have to physically turn the live view off to save battery life because the camera will just go to sleep almost instantly. But let me walk you through some of the different options you have. All right, let's go into the menu and let's go over to the wrench menu. Then go over to page 4 for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And I just like to turn airplane mode on 99% of the time. I don't need Wi-Fi or Bluetooth when I'm out in the field. And you can confirm that because you'll see the little airplane here in the super control panel. So that'll save a little bit of battery life. And then the other thing is on the next page here, we have a lot of different sleep options here, right? So backlight LCD, I have it on hold because I do these videos, but generally, you know, if you set this to 8 seconds, what that will do is dim the backlight display after 8 seconds. This, if you don't touch any buttons on the camera, it'll put the camera to sleep after 1 minute. And you can set that to 3, 5, 1. But there's a better saving down here. Let me talk about this. This is auto power off. So it'll turn the camera off if you haven't touched it after 4 hours. And when that happens, you actually have to turn the camera off by the switch and turn it back on to turn the camera back on. I like to set this to 1 hour myself because if I haven't touched the camera in 1 hour, I probably put it down and forgot to turn it off. So that'll help save a little battery life as well. The other thing you can do is this quick sleep mode. And I don't know if it's on or off by default. But if you turn this on, you can set the backlit LCD to 3 seconds and also to go to sleep after 3 seconds. But you also have to go into your eye sensor menu right down here. And we're going to turn this back on like so. Now, if I wait 3 seconds, the camera's not going to go to sleep. It's actually going to go to the 1 minute timer that we set. You can see that the display dimmed after 8 seconds, but we want it to go to sleep after 3 seconds, right? So you actually have to have the live view on a control panel like this by pushing the EVF switch. And you can see the camera went to sleep. So I don't have to physically turn off the screen or anything. And then I just tap the shutter button and the camera will come back alive within 1 or 2 seconds, right? And you know you're in quick sleep mode because you'll see a little eco icon right here. And when you see that, you're in quick sleep mode. But if I wake the camera back up and go to the regular live view mode, you don't see any eco buttons. So now we're going to go back to the default sleep settings. So if we look at those again, right now the default setting is dim the backlight after 8 seconds, then go to sleep after 1 minute. Turn off the camera in 1 hour, and then quick sleep mode on. But this only applies, again, when you have the control panel showing. And you can see it goes to sleep right away. So really, your first question about turning the EVF on and off manually, the live view on and off manually, if you use quick sleep mode, you probably don't need to do this. And then there are some minor things you can do. So let's go back into the menu and let's see. I think it's here. You can dim your monitor as low as possible. You can also dim your EVF down. You have to look in the EVF, but the same scale pops up there as we had before. But generally, I don't like to do that because then I kind of get used to looking at my pictures at a certain brightness, and if it's either darker or brighter than what I'm used to looking at, that could be a problem. I might think it's under or overexposed, so just be aware of that. And then one last thing you can do, again, this is all personal choice, but turn the touchscreen off. That might save a little bit as well, because the camera charges the screen a little bit with a slight electric charge. And when you touch the screen with your finger, it interrupts that electric charge. So if you turn the touchscreen off, you might save a little bit more battery life as well. So go back and adjust the sleep settings to whatever works best for you. Experiment a little bit. But I found that quick sleep mode really has been a lifesaver, especially on my other cameras that have very small batteries. And that's all I have for today. And for all of you watching, if you find these videos helpful, consider buying me a coffee or making a small donation in the links below, because they're greatly appreciated and they help me to continue making videos like this for you. And I want to thank everyone for watching again, and I hope to see you again soon.